Eric and Aisha, thank you. For more now, we're going to bring in the former president of Ukraine, Petro Poroshenko. He has a new 5-step plan for peace based on his own experiences with the Russian president. First of all, President Poroshenko, thank you for joining us. And I'd like to commend you for your valiant and heroic example of leadership by joining the fight yourself against Russian forces. And now I want to get right to the interview. You have invited President Biden to visit Kyiv while in Europe this coming week. Do you really think it's safe or a good idea on any level to have the President of the United States enter an active war zone?
Definitely. First of all, I want to thank the Fox News for the objective information from Ukraine while I'm here. This is extremely important. Today is the 25th day of war, and right now I hear the sounds of missiles, and I'm just returned back from our front line with the 10 kilometers from here. We have Russian tanks, but for the last 10 days, we don't allow Russian troops to move any one steps more. And if you're asking me, is it safe? No, this is not safe. This is not safe for my 40 million nation. But 3 prime ministers comes here the day before yesterday, Prime Minister of Poland, Prime Minister of Czech Republic, Prime Minister of Slovenia. And with that situation, this will have an extreme symbolic importance. And that would be the demonstration. Very good friend of mine and very good friend of Ukraine, President of US, Joe Biden, demonstrated the real global leadership, being here in Ukraine, in Kyiv, in our capital, and don't allow Putin to have any hopes to capture Putin, because we Ukrainians never give up. We in Kyiv, we're standing here in front, listening the missile sound, don't give them any chance. We want to have 2 recommendations. Recommendation number 1, please don't be afraid of Putin. Do it exactly like we Ukrainians do. And point number 2, don't trust Putin, because Putin many times promised not to attack Ukraine, and he now, crazy person, mad person, attack Ukraine and killing Ukrainians.
Your successor, another brave soldier, President Zelensky, who told Fareed Zakaria on CNN this morning that he wants to speak with and negotiate directly with Putin, saying that without negotiations, this fighting and innocent people dying, that it's all in vain. He's calling it shallow, and he adds that without such negotiations, it would mean this is a third world war. Do you agree, and do you think Putin is ready to negotiate in good faith? You just said, don't trust him.
I think that Ukrainians surprised Putin and surprised the world with our unity. We have a meeting between me and Zelensky and do our best to start with a clean sheet of paper and demonstrate the unity to the world. We think that the Putin attacked not only Ukraine. Putin attacked the whole West, our principles, our values, and the necessity that the answer of the collective West should be destructive for Putin. And with that situation, I definitely support efforts of the President Zelensky in any format to have a meeting with the President Putin. And his request, it would be my recommendation. It is very simple. This is, please help us to save you, dear Americans, dear Europeans. And with this situation, as you absolutely rightly said, we have a plan for the 5 necessary points. Point number 1 is urgently to vote the Land Lease Act 2022 edition. And with this situation, we need everything from nutrition to ammunition. And we are fighting here for that. This is not assistance. This is not help. This is the investment of the world in your own security. Point number 2, with this situation, is to close the sky. We are not talking about that American close the sky for us. We need anti-aircraft missiles. We need jet fighters, old jet fighters from the Soviet Union, and we have one of the bravest and greatest pilot in the world to hit Russian planes, because we already hit more than 200 helicopters and jet fighters. Point number 3, this is the position of the second front, version 2022, everything but soldiers. And with this situation, we need every single day, while Putin continues to killing Ukrainian civilians, Ukrainian children, more sanction. We need embargo on the oil, embargo on the gas, embargo on the whole Russian export, because this is a disaster when Putin received $70–80 million an hour for spending money to killing Ukrainians. And point number 4, this is the Marshall Plan version 2022. I would happily name it Biden, Johnson, Charles Michel plan for assistance Ukraine, and we have the freezing Russian money, which can definitely go to support Ukraine. And point number 5, also the very important, this is the case for support Ukraine in our European integration, because we passed maybe the most difficult test, and we already pay the highest price with the tons of Ukrainian blood and with the thousands and thousands lives of Ukrainian heroes, just demonstrating that we are for freedom and for democracy. And this is exactly the place which we should rise up this question, would happening next week, the summit of NATO, which happening in Europe, and definitely that would be a right place to declare to Ukraine the status for the candidate country for the EU membership.
Okay, a couple things. You mentioned a candidate for EU membership. That perhaps mean that membership into NATO is definitely off the table. But bear with me here for a second, sir, because you had a lot to say. I do, in fact, hope that the unity that Ukraine has exhibited so valiantly is going to be infectious throughout this world. You also know that India just this week purchased more oil from, crude oil from Russia. So they're lining his pockets continuing. And of course, any plan for peace requires cooperation from Putin. So if he refuses a peaceful option to end his war on your great nation, a compromise, there has been some controversy here in the U.S. about ways to remove or force Putin from power. How do you think Putin should be handled at this time?
Look, my idea is the following, that we should increase the effectiveness of Ukrainian armed forces, and I'm proud that it is me who create the new Ukrainian armed forces in the year 2014, and we demonstrate that the Russian army was overestimated and Ukrainian armed forces was underestimated. And we just need to enforce Putin to peace. This is the absolute strategy, and for this we have all
sir,
the instrument in our hands.
And I beg your pardon, sir, but that's what I'm asking, because as you're crying out for help, as you rightly should, and as the world is watching this horrible war on your people, and the world supports you, Putin continues to shell, he's indiscriminately killing civilians. So yes, equipment is there, humanitarian aid is there, more is on the way, but time is of the essence. Is there a way, in your estimation, your experience, this is all new for everybody, I understand, but how can Putin be stopped immediately?
I just want to explain you. First of all, the assistance and the weapons is not enough. We're talking about the anti-aircraft missiles. We're talking about the jet fighter. We're talking about the new armed personnel carrier. Please help us to save you. This is the message. And you should understand that Putin go as far as we allow them to go. Putin don't stop in Ukraine. And if
I understand.
Putin,
so what should be done, sir, with a little time left? And I don't want to rush you, but what should be done to stop him? I agree with you. I understand you're saying that all of the humanitarian aid, everything that's happening, and you appreciate it. We understand that, but he keeps killing your people. So do you have an idea of how to stop him immediately?
This is exactly what I explained to you. I am not a terrorist. We protect our own country and our own freedom. And as I said, weapons, sanction, pressure. Sanctions should be increased also for the countries and companies who violate the sanction, no matter what nationality it is. Indian means Indian, any other means any others. That would Putin start to be extremely toxic, and everybody should afraid to touch him. Putin should appear in a complete isolation in the framework of the Russian Federation, and then Russian people definitely erase him. And my request is very simple. Please stop finance Russian war. Make a full embargo for the whole Russian export. And that would immediately liquidate Russian possibility to attack us and make a pressure to withdraw Putin troops from Ukrainian soil. Definitely this working. And we just need... Sorry.
No, I'm sorry, sir. Yes, I hear you. I hear you loud and clear. You are not a terrorist. I understand that very much, sir. We respect your resolve, your resilience. We are here with you. I hope you get everything that you need to stop the killing of your people. Thank you for your messages. I hope they have been communicated loudly and very clear to everyone who needs to hear. Former President of Ukraine, Petro Poroshenko. Sir, thank you. Glory to Ukraine.
Thank you. Героям слава.